Hello, welcome to Wargamer. I'm your host, Rob, and as you can see from the title, The Future of AOS, it's a very exciting day. Now, I'm actually going into this cold, so I'm going to be reacting along with all of you, but we have not only heard about, well, we're about to see a bunch of images, but also they're going to relate to some rumors about future armies, future model releases, and the future of Age of Sigmar, which I think have got a lot of people very, very excited. So, let me know in the comments which one you're most excited about. I'll try to keep you updated with where rumors have been before. Normally, I don't really do any like rumor shows, but this is all kind of confirmed by GW, so there's lots to go through. Okay, so what am I talking about? I'll just dive straight in. As you can see here, and this might be like a long, windy chat, because I'm going to be talking to the chat about it all. It's going to be very fun. Right, the future of Age of Sigmar. Can you work out what's coming next? Okay, it's been 10 years since Sigmar's Stormcast Eternals came shooting out of the heavens. So the reason this is kind of important is Games Workshop forgot about the 10-year anniversary of Age of Sigmar a month ago. They didn't make any new minis. They didn't make like a celebratory anything at all. Like, they completely forgot about it, which I think pissed off a lot of Age of Sigmar people, which I think is true. Like, you're the stewards and the caretakers of the game. You should be doing like something cool about it, and they forgot. And then after the date, they started doing the 10 years of AOS, literally in post, which was very funny. Now, Age of Sigmar has always had a weird place for Games Workshop as well. It's meant to be its second game behind 40k. But ever since its launch, it's been plagued even by indecision and general unfaith inside the company. I know that I worked there for 2 years. So I know I've always been Age of Sigmar stan. I'm a big fan of the setting. And I think like it's nice having this and also Old World at the same time. There's these two like kind of competing fantasy settings, which I think is actually really good and healthy, especially because it gets to inform some new stuff, which I think is cool. So that's what the 10 years is relating to. And as you've seen over the past few weeks, the infinite scope of the Mortal Realms has only grown in nature. They have put a bunch of pretty tragic narrative, like blog posts out, which I have been pretty disappointed about, but whatever. Listen, we're only looking on the positive today. Today's video is a hype video. Okay, hype, because it's actually really exciting. As we've seen over the past few weeks, the Infinite Scope, anyway, it will keep getting bigger. The future of the game is bright, and there's more to come for every existing faction, plus 1 or 2 bigger developments on the way. We blasted the Room Engine with great gout of light from Azir, and this is what is scried. Okay, so this picture is... we're going to go through all of it really quickly. If you want to jump through, it's Nurgle, it's Fyrelsayers, it's Ogors, and it's Cities of Sigmar. So we're going to talk about these in detail now, maybe talk to the chat a little bit, have a bit of a laugh, but let me know which one of those 4 immediately you're excited about, because this actually relates to a couple of different rumors. The first 2 rumors I'm going to go through, the Fyreslayers and the Ogors, both of which have been long rumored. There's been a Fyreslayers are getting destroyed from the game rumor, and there's also been Ogres have not been updated, and they're going to go the way of Beasts of Chaos. If you're new to Age of Sigmar, or generally just like spicy hype streams, then let me just keep you updated. When Age of Sigmar 4 launched, they got rid of Beasts of Chaos, as I said 6 months before, and got a lot of rubbish for online. But I was truly, truly vindicated. And then the Beasts of Chaos, unfortunately, left and they went to the Old World. Disappointed by that. But one of the things they did not do is they did not put Ogres into the Old World. This meant, in my opinion, that Ogres were going to stick around because they were getting a new release. Same thing kind of happened with Chaos Dwarfs. There's no reason Chaos Dwarfs couldn't have been in Old World unless they were getting a Chaos Dwarf release, as I said, and we got a Chaos Dwarf release. So that's been a big deal. Ogres also are the oldest range now, and they need a big range refresh. So I think a lot of people very excited about this, but there's more to this story. It's not just these 4 pictures. I need you to know there's more to this whole story, which is very exciting. The other big rumor has been that Fyreslayers wouldn't be getting a battle tome this edition. This is a rumor that came from the same similar places as the other rumors we're about to look at. Pretty exciting. Same thing. So people were a little bit concerned. Now, Fyrelsayers have always had a pretty low meta representation. They haven't necessarily been everyone's favorite models. People have said that they all look the same. People like me. I've said that. That's been me. So generally the aesthetic, I think, has been not necessarily super popular. But they were one of the first releases that came out of Age of Sigmar when Age of Sigmar first launched. It's actually the second new army. We got Khorne, we got Stormcast, then we got Fyrelsayers, and they've pretty much not had an update ever since then. So them getting new models, especially if they're anything like the Warcry Warband, which came out recently, is very exciting for everybody, because actually the models could be amazing. It's just been 10 years since they've had a range refresh, which means they would have been sculpted 12 to 14 years ago. Yeah, the Flame Keepers are some of the best dwarfs on the market, Oostage in the chat says, and I agree. Now, the other two, Nurgle, it's been long rumored that we are getting a new model range for Nurgle, and also Cities of Sigmar getting Wave 2 is going to make people very excited. Wave 2 of Cities of Sigmar. Now, the Nurgle update is quite interesting because there is also another big rumor that's happening around Age of Sigmar and also 40k, and it's all to do with demons. Demons right now are in this really weird place where they sit in multiple different game systems. They're in 40k, they're in Age of Sigmar, they're in Old World, but not officially in Old World, in Heresy. But Games Workshop doesn't like that. They like it so that if you buy something, you only buy it for one of the departments. They don't want you to spread your money around, or they want to track where the money comes from. So it seems like demons have been slowly getting sidelined out of every game system, which is kind of weird because they're the main protagonist, effectively, the manifestations of the Chaos Gods. So Nurgle getting a range refresh is pretty interesting, or at least a new model wave, because the demon sculpts that are in Nurgle are some of the oldest sculpts that we have, specifically things like the Plague Bearers. So that getting an update is going to be pretty wild, because it might start to give us an indication of what the future of demons is going to be like in all of the game systems. We'll have to see. They might, use Age of Sigmar as a testing platform to see if they minimize or even get rid of demons out of the game. I don't know, but that's the general kind of rumor. So hopefully that's kept you. And then Cities of Sigmar Wave 2, just like Lumineth, a second wave. I'm unsurprised by that. So this is especially because, I should point this out. Cities of Sigmar Wave 2 will probably pave the way for there being no elves or dwarves in the Cities of Sigmar. So if you don't know, Cities of Sigmar roster contains what was once dark elves and also what once was dwarfs for Warhammer Fantasy, both of which have been slowly losing models to Old World over the course of the past few days. So I think, it might be an OBR dude with a grenade. I thought it was a Cities dude. Okay, maybe the Cities rumor is something else. I'm not sure. That could be an OBR dude if that's what they're saying. But to keep up to date with the Cities rumor, a Wave 2 on the way, because we're going to see dwarfs and elves go out of Cities of Sigmar and probably go over. A lot of people in the chat are saying this isn't actually an OBR arm. Interesting. Okay, so why does this get more spicy? Okay. So on the main rumor thread, or the main rumor website that we have for Age of Sigmar, a place called the TGA Forum, where famously there's been a famous Age of Sigmar leaker for a long time called Whitefang. Most of the things that he's posted have ended up being true. However, I am now about to talk about rumors and stuff that I personally don't know as being correct. So we've all got to take this with a pinch of salt. Okay. The reason I bring this up is because apparently a member of staff from Games Workshop got laid off recently. They got fired or they got laid off. And then they posted the next year's worth of releases on that website. That's apparently. And then Whitefang then confirmed elements of what these might be. So if you are someone who doesn't overly like spoilers or whatever, then now's the time to click off. However, we are going to look at some stuff. Specifically, we're going to start with Ogors. Apparently, this is what got posted. We're going to get a unique tyrant monster, the daughter of Glob Glittermore. I mean, it's even got names. So pretty interesting. A unique tyrant monster could be very cool, kind of like a mega boss or Maw Crusher. A giant ogre model would be great. A lady ogre is going to get everyone's hearts aflutter. An ogre mommy. Lots of people sometimes watch these videos and they don't know how ogre mommy pilled I am. And I am. We all should be. And if you're someone who's watching this video and isn't, I want you to click off. I don't want you to be a part of this family. Okay? Very, very muscle ogre mommy. Okay. And then we've also got a unique butcher that's apparently a war machine, which is interesting. A unique man-eater with the female man-eaters, which is very fun. Nice throwback. We have a new hunter models, new Mournfangs, new butcher, new tyrant, new. Now the big news is the big new ogre gluttons and maybe new iron guts. But things that apparently are going away. Icebrow Hunter, the Fyrelsayers. The Fyrelsayers are about, I think they were sculpted in 1423. They're made from clay, in fact. I'm pretty certain. Firecast clay. Not 100% that's correct, but I think it's close. The Firebelly, apparently going away. Now, that's a tragedy, and I will be picking up the Firebelly, one of my favorite sculpts in all of Warhammer. Icefall Yetis, Lead Belchers, Great Morpot, and the Tyrant from 2019. So all of this is going away. Giant range refresh. Now, normally you would be like, I don't really care about this. I'm not sure this could be true, but right there, ladies and gentlemen, is an Ogre gut plate. So this leak, I think this picture is Games Workshop responding to the leaks. They're basically semi-confirming it. I think what's happened is they know that that person is getting this information out there, and that's crazy. Okay. Now, I'm really excited for new Ogre Gluttons, new Iron Guts. I think they're going to be amazing sculpts. New Tyrant, new Butchers, new Mournfang. Incredible range. I'm very, very excited for that, which is very cool because this also seems like it's going to be pretty soon. Chaos Dwarfs will be coming out on the 14th of September, something around that time. So that's when Chaos Dwarfs will be arriving. We've got an FAQ. Now, you won't expect these to be this year. We are going to be coming into summer next year will be 2 years of Age of Sigmar 4. So we could be looking at maybe a summer release next year for the new Ogres. That would be pretty exciting. I think that's probably in the timeline that we're looking at. Games Workshop are also pretty silly, and they do normally do stuff in order. So my personal assumption is that we are going to see Nurgle first, then Fyrelsayers, then Ogres, and then what is, we think, OBR, which is pretty funny. Now, to follow on from this, now I'm excited about this. Let me know, chat, which one of these you're most... did they ever directly respond with leaks, confirmations before? They have, or they've at least responded to stuff being posted up. They have. That's definitely a thing that they do. They absolutely do that. Now, this is where it gets even deeper, or maybe even spicier if you're that sort of person. They did the Seraphon refresh in the spring. Okay, that's a good idea for when maybe we'll see the refresh, maybe a springtime. But I think we're also going to get, it's important to note, a new model wave for Nurgle, new model wave for Fyreslayers. Okay, I think that's pretty exciting. However, we have now got this other document, right? Now, this is, again, posted on the same website because this is a person who apparently lost their job and leaked what was coming out. But since the damage is done, let me publish one last rumor. We're going to get a Cities of Sigmar versus Maggotkin of Nurgle box. Now, that's pretty interesting because we've actually moved away, Age of Sigmar at least, has moved away from what we used to call the FOMO boxes. We used to get these a lot during lockdown, right? We used to get these a lot during lockdown where we would get like one army versus another army. Now, the excitement is that maybe we'll see these FOMO boxes returning. 2 spearheads in a box battling against each other that you can buy, similar to what we saw with Scaventide, might be something that they start to do to introduce new models, to pump sales, do those sorts of things. I can see that happening. Like I said, this used to be something that they did. They repackaged a bunch of stuff and stuck a new character in what we call these FOMO boxes. However, this would be a big change. This would be a different way of doing the releases that they've done for Age of Sigmar 4. So it could be possible that that is an Age of Sigmar 5 box. That also is unlikely because they're going to do more Stormcast, but no one wants more Stormcast, I don't think. No offense. Like, you should do Cities of Sigmar. I've said a long time, and I think many people will agree with me, that Cities of Sigmar should be the lead faction in AOS. Mainly because they're just humans living against the world. It's more relatable. It works better, in my opinion. So I think this is good. Obviously, if both of these Cities of Sigmar and Maggotkin of Nurgle armies is a FOMO box, there are spearheads. I'll obviously be covering it on the Just the Tip channel, my spearhead channel. But this would be interesting because if this is true, which I think I'm going to go with, I'm very, like, if you to ask me I'd say this is 80% likely. That's where I'm at. Okay, so that's apparently what might be coming. We're going to get a Festus model that's a monster and is apparently absolutely massive. A new, unique Nurgle Demon Prince. This would be quite interesting because you would be moving away from the generic Demon Prince that we have, but also you'd be leaning heavily into demons. And as I said earlier, demons right now, big question mark around that. Now, this is the other rumor that we've heard. We've heard that because Beasts of Chaos are going away, each faction's going to get its own Minotaur beast-like models, specifically a Pestigore, so like a Gore, Pestigore Shaman, a Realm Gore Ritualist for Nurgle, and then we're going to get Pestigores. So these would be very similar to what we saw with the Slangor for Hedonites to Sinesh. So getting more Pestigore in, be super spicy. And then eventually this opens up the door for Corn Gore, which is good. We've already got Zangor, so all this would be doing is adding our second Gore into the mix. I guess we have things like the Minotaurs, the big models that we have for the Therodons, for Chaos Undivided, for Warriors of Chaos, not them, Slaves to Darkness. Okay, so apparently we've got Blood Reavers, but Nurgle, Blood Warriors, but Nurgle, Skull Crushers, but Nurgle, Rotgut Trogos, but Nurgle, and Refresh Putrid Blight Kings. Now, this is a big deal, actually, because there's been long rumors that there has been a schism between the departments who create Age of Sigmar and also the old world. Apparently, we were meant to see a lot of models released by Age of Sigmar department that was going to be usable in old world, but they had the schism, they broke apart, so we might be seeing these models released in a different format. Having them all as mortals, very cool, makes a lot of sense. All these things have heavy plate armor far thicker than Chaos, so that's apparently the rumor that we might be getting. Okay, and then yes, the newest AOS Nurgle style is heavy armor warriors. Okay, and so there's that rumor as well. So both of these are off the back of the same person emerging from around this model here. Now, the Fyrelsayers rumor is currently, there's no news on that. Like, absolutely no news on that at the moment, which I think is a little bit disappointing. Very disappointing. I should go back to the original picture now and talk about the fact that this might be OBR, because I have just randomly moved over that, and I apologize. So this bottom right-hand corner, it might be OBR, or as we call it, Ossiarch Bonereapers. Ossiarch Bonereapers getting a new wave of models would be very cool. They do have a very limited roster, which we saw released quite a few years ago now. So they're definitely in view of getting a range update, getting a bunch more models added in. Fyrelsayers are also up for getting a bunch of new models in as well. I would say Fyrelsayers is probably better off with a full range refresh than just added on a bunch of models. I think that would be what I'd probably like to see. For OBR, incredibly good army. Very cool, super functional. The sculpts hold up perfectly. I don't think there need to be any updates to the sculpts. I think they just need to add more units into the roster. I think that'd be good. Oh, could the cities versus Nurgle be a Warcry or Underworlds box? That's a great shout, actually. Talking about the Cities of Sigmar versus Mankin and Nurgle box, that absolutely could be a new edition of Warcry. We saw an update of Warcry, which is a skirmish, squad-based game for Age of Sigmar. Recently, we saw an update with a bunch of new units usable in Warcry. So is Warcry dead has been, again, something that we've all been thinking about. Oh, not been thinking about, being talked about, because no one really plays it. It doesn't seem to be super popular. Games Workshop themselves don't seem to have done a lot of support for it. So there's been a lot of stuff around that, a lot of chat around that hasn't really turned into anything. There's talking to Warhammer Quest maybe called Mossy Cairn. Interesting. Was there not a Warhammer Quest mentioned recently too? Maybe. There might have also been Warhammer Quest. So this could be this. Cities of Sigmar versus Mankin Nurgle. Also, to throw fuel on a fire, and now everything I'm about to say is absolutely, I am just picking little clues out from the ether and trying to connect the dots, So who is Pepe Silva? That's me right now. I am in conspiracy land. The next thing I'm about to say is, I would expect in the next couple of years to see a Mordheim game released by SDS. SDS are the people who make Old World, Horus Heresy, Blood Bowl. They're a separate department from the people who make AOS and 40k. Those two departments are at war with each other. So rumors of there being a Mordheim game might inspire the main studio, right? Might inspire the main studio to create their own version, which could be Cities of Sigmar versus Magikin of Nurgle, right? Now, I don't know that that's true at all. I'm just picking stuff out. But Games Workshop seems to be a company almost inherently run on pettiness. I don't know why. Like, everything they do is not really consumer orientated, or it's just petty. Like, everything is just pettiness, which is weird. So, like, I think that's what might be the driving factor there. But this is a weird one. A Cities of Sigmar versus Magikin of Nurgle box opens lots of questions which no one knows the answer to. Neither do I. Now, I'm personally very excited. What am I most excited for? Well, number one, chat, let me know what you're most excited for. If you're watching this, let me know what you're most excited for. For me, it's Ogors, hands down. They have been 10 years, really no models, nothing to talk of. 10 years of some of the cool, like one of the coolest races. Also, there being an ogre update, which I think is very exciting, gives us opportunity for them putting ogres into other factions, getting chaos ogres, getting ogres who help out some stormcast. Maybe we'll end up some like brute-sized, like ogre-sized stormcast Eternals in in Age of Sigmar 5. Seeing some undead ogres. We saw some in Curse City and they were amazing. So for me personally, that's the one that's really got my juices flowing. Fyrelsayers, I don't care about the fat alcoholics at all. I want the bearded alcoholics, says Mr. Birdie in the chat. Kozlopic says, Nurgle, as I literally started this army, just meaning I got 5k in the last 3 months. Okay, so very exciting. I think Nurgle's also really popular. Most of the ogre models are over 20 years old. It's true. I'm excited for the petrol to run out. Okay, can't wait for ogres. Means more dad bod centaurs. That's true. Ogres would have been in my first AOS army if they had newish models. Said I went Chaos and Cities and Skaven, Stormcast and Iron Jaws. Very normal, very normal. And that picture they mentioned, that one for each faction to OBR, was a good point. Yeah, I think I got the cities thing wrong. I think that's OBR, which is very exciting. I'm excited for the Hellsmith's book review. Jones in Hard over here. Me too. I'm very excited to talk about that book soon. Very, very fun. Okay. Oh, yeah, final question. I guess there's been a long-standing rumor. Every time you talk about a rumor in Age of Sigmar, something comes up, and that something is Malarian, the head of the Shadow Elves, or as we know them, the Umbraneth. So that's pretty exciting. But this has got announced, not announced, but it got like soft launched on the Warhammer community website a few years ago. And ever since then, people have been like, Umbraneth when? The way Games Workshop works is many of these things will have been sculpted for several years. The Ogre range refresh, for example, could easily have been sculpted 5 to 6 years ago. And they just wait to release them at the time. They're not just like hot off the press, sorry. They say like in a year's time, let's do Ogres, because it takes about a year to write the book. You have to have every metal, paint everything. You've got to get photos taken. It's like a 2-year lead time. So it doesn't mean that they just start sculpting them 2 years ahead. Instead, they've got a lot of stuff that they pick and choose from to release when they think it's useful. So I think it's a little unfortunate to get too excited about the Shadow Elves because they're not featured in this article. But Games Workshop do like to pull mulligans. They do like to just do tricks as well, so we could easily see that happen. I expect the timeline for this is somewhere in the next year. I mean, we haven't even got the Chaos Dwarfs yet, which is very exciting to get them in. But let me know which armies you'd like to see refreshed. I think with Ogres refreshed, Ogres and Fyrelsayers refreshed, I think I'm pretty happy with the ranges. Some of the ranges are pretty limited, like Ineth Deepkin, Daughters of Cain. However, they've also got pretty much perfect ranges in many ways. Like, you can fully collect an Ineth Deepkin army and you're like, yeah, it's pretty much everything I could want. It's an amazing range. I would prefer them to do more micro factions. So when we saw the Dark Oath for Slaves to Darkness released and then put into this Slaves to Darkness book, I did not like that. And I would prefer to have seen them have their own book, have their own kind of unique identity as much as you can in AOS 4. Have your own unique identity and be your own thing. I don't really... Same with Uruks, right? Like, it would be much better, in my opinion, if there was a Cruel Boys book and there was an Ironjawz book. Now, I know a lot of people say, Rob, I'm a big WoW player and I like playing them together. There's no reason you can't do that with the same thing happening. But it just means you have some nice identity for the rosters, which I think would be cool. So I think that'd be good. I'd like that. I thought that'd be cool. So let me know what you think. I appreciate you all tuning in. Drop some comments below. This is going to be really fun. I mean, this is exciting because what this is more than absolutely anything is it's more model releases and more support for Age of Sigmar. And unlike things like 40k, and 40k also has this as well now because they have new factions they're releasing. You know, they brought Votan out. They'll bring out more armies as well, I'm sure, in the future, like Dark Mechanicum, probably not far away. But this is like more models, more armies, more range refreshes. That's actually really good for the health of the game. More people get excited about it. You know, there's more people to play and there's more models to paint, which is fun. So I'm really excited about that. I'm personally excited for the future of Age of Sigmar. So let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. See you soon. Bye.